Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here, and today Blizzard announced a handful of Trinket tuning changes that are coming to next week's reset when the raid opens and all that. So, with that being said, it sort of changes what bosses you might be looking at coining as far as the raid is concerned. On top of that, embellishments. Sims, in this video talking about what is likely possibly going to be crafted. Don't craft anything now, because things might be changing. From Arcana Weave to an interesting combination of embellishments that I hadn't really heard much about until today. So looking at that, talking about boss coining and all that, hopefully in a fast video and breaking it down. Let's go. Okay, so Forgy made this post, I think in Discord a couple hours ago, well, I guess yesterday at this point. Now, this post was made before Trinket nerfs came in today, so I'm going to highlight it briefly. I've been preaching basically the exact same thing he's saying here, where Ulatek is probably not a very good coin for Warlocks, and mages as well, he mentioned here, because every other class in the game that wants the weapon from Ulatek that you can get on Heroic, if you coin Heroic Ulatek and coin the weapon, it drops or is coined for you at Myth 1 out of 6. So you can push it to Myth 6 out of 6. However, Warlocks and Mages have a chance of rolling a pretty subpar Trinket in, I think it's like this thing. It's not very good. Now, every other class in the game can say, hey, I'm going to reroll to Holy or Prot or some other spec that doesn't have this on the loot table, and it has like the weapon and a couple other things, and not a chance of getting a bad Trinket. Warlocks and Mages cannot do that. So that greatly devalues that roll. Number one, because of the chance of pulling a bad Trinket. Number two, I mean, this helm is fine. Obviously, on Heroic, it's going to be like 3. Max Myth, it drops when you upgrade it, right? But you can get a Myth helm for tier as well. Same with this neck. There's that. Are they good? Sure. But is it as good as coining a Myth boss? Because keep in mind, if you coin any Myth boss, even if this thing drops from your coin, it will be max Myth 6 out of 6. That saves you a lot of crest. Let me think, I'd be 80 to 60 to 80 crest, give or take, depending on your current gearing. It is a lot. Whether you coin the first boss that drops 1 out of 6 gear, or this boss here that drops, 3 out of 6 gear. If you coin the item, it costs 1 coin. It is Myth 6 out of 6. So if you can kill Mythic bosses, that is obviously very, very relevant. And Forgy covers it a bit here in his post as well, talking about guilds that do splits, so on and so forth. If you're not ever going to raid Mythic bosses and never, ever, ever kill them, coining Heroic Ulatek is probably more than fine. But I wait and see what's in your vault and go from there, because the coining and gearing and what you craft this season has never ever been more complicated than it currently is now, with vault implications being max Myth from the raid, coining bosses being max Myth, new embellishments, Janth Rosette, the weapon being a rare drop, and having a weird loot table for us. It is so incredibly convoluted, and every single person is going to be in a different scenario than somebody else. So you're gonna have to make your own choices based on your own gearing, and there's not really a set list of like you want to do this 100%, right? So once again here, bad Trinket. Everyone wants to avoid it. You can go healer or tank, except for Mage and Warlock. So yeah, that's what Ulatek is. A very awkward coin for us. Now, the Trinket changes that came in today are these. So they ended up buffing a handful of Trinkets and nerfing a handful. The big one, Gibo's bottomless bag. This thing was very strong across the board. Almost everybody wanted it. It's being nerfed by 30%. That is a lot. I have not seen Sims for these as of yet. They'll probably be out in a day or so, maybe tomorrow, not really sure, but this could very well change things. Other things like Vexual's getting buffed, Vashnik getting buffed, the old, I guess the Spymaster's Web-esque Trinket got buffed a bit. It reduced the intellect drain and buffed the int, which is actually pretty nice. We'll see where this lands. M plus Trinkets as well, all pretty mediocre. There's that. The nerf Crucible a bit, which you can obtain at veteran level this season again. Same quest, go get it. Veteran level, 295, I think, max upgrade or something like that. I don't know. And Gaze. Now, this changes things, however, because it's not just the fact that Gibo's got nerfed. Gibo's comes from the Lost Explorers, the turtle boss. Now, this boss had 3 good items for us on the loot table. Looking at Mythic here, you had Gibo's, which everybody wanted. Helm, Myth helm. Once again, if you coin any of these, they drop at max 6 out of 6, right? So it'd be a max Gibo, max helm, which you can catalyze for tier, or max tier shoulders. Very big. Small loot table as well. So you coin this week 1 or week 2 when coins begin, you get this. Coin again next week, you get this or this. It's a pretty easy loot table to exhaust as far as like coining goes, and 3 good items. With this being nerfed a good bit, there's a good chance it falls out of being like our best option. It might not, depending where Sims land. If that's the case, which likely is falling out of favor, that means Lost Explorers is not a boss you want to coin anymore. Quite possibly, we'll see where Sims land. With that being said, the other boss we're looking at is coining Vashnik. Now, Vashnik has a bad trinket. It's not like it's horrendous. It is being buffed, I think, by like 15%. Fang, 15%, there you go. It's not horrendous, it's not great, but it is what it is. If you got it, you coined it, you probably play it for a little while, depending where your character's currently sitting in things. But the other thing is it has a good ring, a good two-handed staff, and a tier chest. So if you coin this staff, it might drop a 3 out of 6. It's going to be 6 out of 6 if you coin this staff. So very good. Now, we're not sure if Vashnik's going to be an easy boss like Soulbinder this injury was in Man of Forge Omega, or a hard boss. This could be a free boss, could be very difficult. Either way, it is a very strong caster-based boss. Good ring, good staff, and tier chest, obviously, whatever trinket. However, this has 4 items compared to 3, and 1 you don't really want to hit a whole lot, but if you hit it, it is what it is. So, for the most part, I've been discussing for the last week or so coining Explorers or Vashnik based on this being good until it was nerfed today, and having the option of a staff. If you look here, I believe 4G suggests that as well, somewhere in here. Yep, obvious choice are Lost Explorers and Vashnik, which, once again, for Warlocks, that was pretty important. You can read more of this if you want. Shout out to 4G, all that, obviously. However, with Trinket changes coming in today, it might change the bosses that you want to coin. In addition to that, embellishments are looking very interesting right now. So, obviously, most of us assumed, even up to myself till now, when 4G DM'd me earlier, about probably just playing 2 Arcane Weave this tier is what it is, going from there. That doesn't appear to be the case, necessarily. So I've run a lot of Sims here. 4G's run some as well. For Mages is also, I think. I don't think he's done with them yet or anything, but he's talked about it a bit. So the Sims I have, I can find them here. They're buried in these tabs somewhere. So I've run 2. Now, this... Basically, what we run here, I'm playing Destro. I have a populated profile with like just PTR gear, no embellishments, any items here, so I can sim full potential embellishments. What I've done is I have simmed basically Janthrosette at max 6 out of 6. Now, Myth 6 out of 6 is what you can push the weapon to if you coin Ulatek on Heroic. Ulatek drops 1 out of 6. However, you can spend Crest to upgrade that to max Myth. Obviously, we know if you kill Mythic Ulatek in a month or whatever, it's the best weapon you can get, obviously. Not simming that, doesn't matter, you get it, phenomenal, you're Biss. However, this has implications early on. So, what I wanted to sim here, we ended up going in and we simmed Arcane Weave Belt, Arcane Weave, I think, something else, Arcane Weave Belt, Arcane Weave Belt, I think Bracers, there you go. Craft ones, obviously. We simmed Janthrosette, I simmed an offhand, with the new embellishment on it, the Hunt Offhand, I forgot what it's even called, the new embellishment thing. I also simmed a staff, the Hunt embellishment, and I simmed a one-hander with the embellishment on it. So a main hand, offhand combo. And I believe as far as the embellishment's concerned, let me see if we can find it here actually. I think it's actually on my alt. I forgot what it's called, we'll find it. We'll find that on my alt real fast. It's a new embellishment this patch. It's actually performing really well. So the sims here, the highest overall sim is 213k for me, basically, playing an Arcana Weave item, belt, whatever, bracers, whatever. You'll figure it out. I believe we have a high cloak from Ulatek this tier at a higher Venom Curse eye level, so cloak's out this time for crafted stuff. But the highest simming combination I have is Arcana Weave piece, Janthrosette at max Myth. This is basically the coined heroic version of it, or if you get it in your vault or whatever, somehow, you know, however you get it to max Myth, there you go. And the offhand that is crafted with the new embellishment on it. Damaging spells have a chance to grant 165 of a secondary stat for 15 seconds. Pretty good. Now, once again, Ulatek, not the best coin if you're a Warlock. I'm trying to find the new embellishment here, actually. Let's see. New embellishment. Aln Hara. Kane. Should be... It's not Pango Charm. It should be one of these things. Yeah, the Hunter's Ritual Stone. There it is. That's the new one. So Hunter's Ritual Stone is what we simmed here, obviously, right? Now, when it comes to the other combinations, and this is what brings up, do I want to coin Ulatek and get a potentially 1 out of 4 shot? I think it's 1 out of 3, 1 out of 4. Let me see. I think it's 1 out of... Let me see. I should know this, but it is 1, 2, 3, 1 out of 4. curios don't drop from your coin, so 1 out of 4. A 1 out of 4 shot in getting an item that I really want, neck and helm would be okay, while also risking a 1 out of 4 shot at getting a bad item, and getting it at 1 out of 6, requiring more crests to upgrade to max, myth, which should be 6 out of 6. Or do I want to coin a mythic boss that just gives the max value for my bonus roll? Because once again, bosses are going to have max myth gear being coined when you get them, whether it's this boss or this boss here, right? So this sim, I'll links it down below. This sim also looks at just crafting main hand, offhand. Embellished hunt, embellished hunt. You can literally have 2 embellishments in these things. Main hand and offhand. Main hand and offhand can both be embellished on each. So you have 2 embellishments, one here, one here. And the difference between like Janthrazet, Arcana Weave, Hunt offhand is only 1,000 DPS, right? I mean that is a 0.5% difference. It's obviously like a little bit. Are you gonna really notice it? Probably not a whole lot. It's more min-maxy, sure, to have like this, but you're running a pretty good chance of like wasting your bonus roll. And if you super low roll coining Ulatek, it might be week 4 before you coin this. At that point, people in your guild have 4 pieces of max myth gear and you're playing with heroic gear. I don't like it. Now, that builds upon itself as well, right? Because in addition to just saying, like, main hand cost 80 crest, offhand also costs 80 crest. That'd be 160. What if you just craft the staff, right? Let's say you craft the staff. This is also 4 sparks, right? 2 spark, 4 spark, so 4 total. Let's say you craft a staff, right? I made it right here. On Hurricane, I also send an Arcana Weave piece here. So this combination here is essentially taking 6 sparks, right? Because you have like an Arcana Weave piece here, and you have your staff taking 4 sparks, but 2 embellishments, right? So total of 6. However, this combination here takes only 160 crest as well, because once again, staff covers 2 spots, but only takes 80 crest. So you're essentially covering your main hand and your offhand slot with 80 crest while crafting this, but it takes 4 sparks. However, you spend half the crest. I accounted for that too here by adding in this belt for, 80 more crest to 160, but this will take 6 sparks comparatively. You can craft this combination on week 3 of the raid, I believe, compared to technically being able to craft this whenever we get 4 sparks, which is probably going to be, I would assume, week 2 of the raid. This would be week 4 or whatever. So there's that. So that also poses more questions. Well, what about the Vashnik staff? What if we go in there and just kill Vashnik, and I want to coin that boss because that boss has good items in the first place, right? I mean, it has the ring, it has the tier chest, it has the staff. Where does Vashnik staff stack up if you just coin this and make 2 Arcana Weave pieces, right? Well, I ran that sim too. So once again, on top, you have Arcana Weave, Janthrazat, all offhand crafted. Heading down here, we have Vashnik staff sitting right here with an Arcana Weave piece. Now, this is technically, like, I guess technically one, what's it called? One embellishment. We can add another one here too. Actually, I probably should do that in a minute here. But here's 2. So there you go. There is the Vashnik staff with 2 Arcana Weave pieces right here. And you're looking at about a 3,600 DPS difference over the BIS, Janthrazet offhand plus Arcana Weave here. And if you find the just main hand offhand combination, once again, 2 embellishments here versus 2 being here and just coining this staff, the main hand offhand combo is still, it's still about 2.5k DPS ahead of the highest combination of Venomancer's coin staff plus double crafted Arcana Weave. And at that point, that's about a 1.2% difference in DPS. That is relatively substantial, right? So there are so many possible combinations with all this being taken into account. And also keep in mind, you can't get a coin from your vault until the 24th, which is like the start of week 2 of the raid, which means you're going to open a vault before the raid anyways. If you kill mythic bosses, items in the vault, I believe, are max myth. If you killed mythic bosses, if you killed heroic bosses, I believe items in the vault are also myth, but they're 1 out of 6. So if you just go to your vault and open this thing, that's a whole other can of worms too. Oh, we didn't need the coin Ulatek. We just opened it in our vault. And that changes everything here as well. It is so incredibly convoluted with crafting and staves taking 80 sparks versus this being 160 with a new embellishment and coining and bonus rolls. It is so complicated. I'm trying to drive home. Everyone's gearing is going to be different. There's no great answer for any one person when it comes to crafting an item or coining a boss or whatever. The way I would approach this, if you're doing I think personally coining Ulatek is not a great idea if you're a Warlock. You run the risk of getting a bad Trinket. If you Omega low roll, you're coining Ulatek for a month on Heroic, getting bad items. Your other guilds have 3 or 4 Myth pieces maxed out. I don't think coining Ulatek is a good idea if your guild's rating Mythic. You're going to kill Mythic bosses in the first few weeks. If you never do Mythic, it could be a pretty good coin actually, possibly, because getting this weapon is pretty important. But regardless, we'll have 1 vault coming in before we can go back into the raid and coin a boss, basically, that Tuesday, right? If your guild's raiding Mythic bosses, we need to wait and see what happens with the nerfs to Gibo's bag and other trinkets getting buffed a bit here too. I think the better bosses to coin are going to likely be the ones that you just have lesser items in. Obviously, like helms, chests, tier pieces are pretty good pickups. Honestly, the first boss might not even be a horrendous coin, because if you pull this dagger at max myth, like, I'm just making an offhand, right? If I open a max myth dagger, or probably even a max myth offhand from my vault or whatever, I'm probably making the other piece, completing the main hand offhand combo, embellishing it, and making an arcana weave piece and saying, hey, that's it. I'll optimize my 1,000 more DPS when I get a Janthros at a mythic at the end of the tier, right? So a lot of it's just going to be what is your guild doing? How many mythic bosses are you going to kill? How are the mythic bosses tuned week 1 or just week 2 when you're killing them? Because if these 3 bosses are pretty easy, and this is like a wall, this is going to be a wall regardless, I'm pretty sure. Like, you might say Vashnik has better gear on it, but theoretically, we're not going to kill this week. And I want more power going in the next week to help kill Vashnik, so we coin Explorers, or we coin Sentinels, or we coin Nexali. But once again, this is nerfed a good bit. This boss becomes a lot less appealing. Sentinels is sort of weird with like a neck and wrist and an offhand. Like, hands are okay, but they're lesser tier items. Nexali actually becomes a relatively interesting coin for the dagger, maybe max myth. Huge weapon there, obviously. Legs are a pretty important piece. These stats are sort of gross, I'm not gonna lie, but stats in eye level, typically eye level is a little better when it comes to early gearing and stuff, right? Plus you can catalyze these for tier if you want. Boots and back a little funky. Back is from the end boss. Stats are sort of gross here too, but it really depends on tuning, what your guild is doing, what you want to craft, and all of that. So this is a lot to take in. My head's been spinning for 4 hours trying to figure this out, but obviously, like, we didn't sim Mythic Janthros here. We know it's BIS on the line. It is what it is. There's that. I would assume, I mean, looking at this right now, just BIS for this patch probably is like a crafted offhand with Hunter's Ritual Stone, and likely a belt with Arcana, or an X item with Arcana Weave on it, obviously, and Janthroset. However, until you get there and kill Mythic Ulatek and get this weapon, I don't know if coining, me personally, I really don't think coining Heroic Ulatek is a great idea if you're a Warlock, because you can't filter out the bad Trinket. The bigger question though is, like, what do you want to do here? Do you want to craft main hand and offhand? If you don't open a mythic, max myth dagger offhand in your vault, you just want to craft both these over, say, crafting a staff, which is 80 crest versus 160. The staff allows you to craft the belt here too, or something like that along those lines, or just say, hey, I'm crafting both these because they're 2.5k more than the staff and Arcana piece, and go from there. And then when you do that, once again, it depends what boss you want to coin. So this is very, very, very complicated. In the end, it's never going to be perfect. Someone's gonna mess it up, I'm sure. It happens. But in the end, it's not that big of a deal. It's okay. But I would not craft anything right now. I wouldn't craft anything probably until the later part of next week, or you're going to Mythic if you have to. Wait as long as you can to craft. There's no reason to craft anything at all right now. Zero reason. Don't do it with sparks. If you want to make like veteran pieces, that's fine, but don't use your sparks now. Class tuning is coming in later today, I believe. We'll see where things go. Maybe they tune embellishments, not really sure. Waiting on trinket tuning as well. It'll likely change what we're playing overall. Okay, I did want to add this section of the video because it does sort of break down bonus rolls. Raidbots has added a way to simulate bonus rolls. If you go here, drop optimizer, plug in your character stuff, and they have a bonus roll section, so you can select the raid, M+ only, whatever, what have you, and any eye level. Now, I'm selecting Heroic here, but I'm selecting Max Myth, because if I select Mythic from the raid and select like Max Myth, it's going to send the last 2 bosses at 344 because they're 9 out of 6. And once again, obviously, at some point we'll kill them. We know it's BIS. It is what it is. We're looking at Heroic, but Max Myth being simming. I've been looking at this for 6 hours, boys. My brain is cooked. Simulating Heroic, but Max Myth means we're basically seeing what the items would drop at if they were coined on Mythic, because they drop at 6 out of 6, or they're coined at 6 out of 6. And it's also looking at, let's say we coined Heroic and upgraded it to 6 out of 6. So both the results, we'll be seeing here essentially. My brain is cooked, but there's that. So basically, we're breaking this down. Now, we talked about it already. Vashnik's staff is simming high here, but this is not taking into account main hand, offhand crafting with the hunt embellishment on it. So like it says 9.1 being 12k here, comparatively to like Ulatek being 9.3. We know this is closer. We know Ulatek's actually a little higher if you're making the offhand with the embellishment on it, but both very close here. Third highest option for me, this is my character from retail, should be pretty similar to like Biss profile at this point for S1, is actually Nexali the Soul Coiler. It's the first boss, which you mentioned briefly. Now, Nexali has a dagger, which if you coin it, drops at max myth. Legs with terrible stats on them, but they are legs and they're higher eye level, so there's that. You can catalyze them for tier, same thing, bad stats, whatever. Boots and a cloak. We know that there's a higher cloak from, I think, Ulatek or Coral Altar. Yeah, at higher eye level, that's way on the line, right? And then like you have Nermissa Wave Caller, which is the the world boss in the cave that you can do. I forgot what they're called. They're calling it a dingle layer. I don't know what it's called, something like that. But that lady with the water. I'm so tired. My brain's looking at Sims for 6 hours. Decent, but like, probably not worth a whole lot. So Gibo's bag is here. It's not been updated in Sims. So obviously we talked about explorers and Vashnik being bosses that are really interesting. With bag dropping off here, this boss becomes way less interesting. Even if bag is still Biss for us, like shoulders are 2.1, helm is 1.2, you can catalyze it here as well. And bag is probably what, 2.5? I'm not even sure. Who knows where it went with the nerf, right? So Zorak later on gonna be a wall, obviously. Coral Altar, Twin Fangs, later bosses here. Sentinels is not very good. Offhand, this stuff randomly, right? So your choices do come down to Vashnik, Nexali, Ulatek. Maybe there's a worldy coin Nimrissa at certain points. I think it's more just these three right here. Now, once again, the Vashnik versus Janthrazet, there's much less disparity here. We saw this a minute ago with Max Myth Janthrazet crafted offhand with Hunt and an Arcana Weave piece actually beat out the staff with 2 Arcana Weave. So this is much closer than it seems. If you put that aside, if you put this weapon stuff aside here, looking at these 3 bosses, the highest gain besides the weapons here actually is from Ulatek. It's the neck. The neck has a stack and crit chance. Obviously for Destro crit, I want to let a crit from my gear right now, so it's pretty high. There's a pretty high value to this neck. For some reason, this chest at Max Myth is semi higher than the helm with cantrips on it. I know Master isn't like phenomenal for Destro right now. But either way, cantrip helm's still not bad. The trinket is not, like, this is the one thing that bothers me from Ulatek, is this trinket. It's 0.9. There's way better trinkets out there, obviously. This is getting buffed with the trinket buffs coming in by 15%. It's probably like 1.8, 1.9, 1.7, I don't know, 6.7. But man, there could be a world where it's Ulatek. I would not coin anything until you probably very likely loot your vault, like week 2 of the raid opening. There could be I mean, you don't even get a coin to week 2, obviously, so there's that. But like, there could be a world where it's Ulatek, where it is Ulatek. And if you pull this thing, then it is what it is. But at the same time, mages and warlocks can't roll this off their loot table. They can't say, or we can roll it. We can't say, let's go like a dev evoker. Let's say dev can just go preservation for their loot spec, and this thing's not on the table anymore. It's just this, and this, whatever they get, right? They don't have to roll this garbage. Mages and warlocks have to. So there's once again that where you can maybe waste a coin and get 1 out of 6 trinket you don't want. But at the same time, if the whole raid is coining Ulatek and you're not, maybe you just get a helm or a necklace or a weapon given to you. But it's gonna be max hero. Well, it's gonna be hero and not myth track. So this is so incredibly complicated and convoluted with bonus roll, something else. It might be Ulatek, but you don't get a coin until week 2 of the raid begins. And that is where you're gonna have to determine what you want to coin. I think it's, and honestly, like, if it's not Ulatek, it could just be, honestly, like, the chest is good here from Vashnik, like, and the ring and trinket are okay, but like, there's more decent items on Nexali, being like the legs or the boots for bigger gain. Or Nimrissa has a bunch of gains too, being a chest and a decent trinket and a belt, and this is an offhand you're gonna craft anyways, but like, so it really depends, honestly. You might just use your bonus roll week 2 for like extra value, whatever boss gives you the highest overall output. Maybe you do default to coining Ulatek. I mean, it's just tough. But keep in mind, these right here are max myth sims and coining heroic Ulatek. And all this here at max myth, being 6 out of 6, has cost you crest to upgrade it. It's cost you 100 crest to push us from 1 to 6. These all right here cost no crest if you coin them. But that's the thing. What are you going to coin? So Ulatek pound for pound probably is the highest value, but we'll see. And also, like, if you're coining mythic bosses every week and getting just max myth pieces and crafting main hand or offhand, there literally could be a world where you're just sitting on myth crest without many upgrades. If you don't get a mythic item from like your raid clear that week, you might just have extra crest laying around. You're going to have like 250 probably going into week 2 of the raid, roughly. If you craft, just say main hand, offhand, that's 160 crest used. You got like 90 laying around still. Okay, well, if you got a mythic piece, you know, if you coined Ulatek and say you pulled the helm, I mean, you could upgrade it hypothetically, but at the same time, like, do you coin it? I don't know. You might have extra crest laying around either way. If there's a week where you don't get a myth item from your raid that's not like, you know, that you're given to like naturally from your boss being killed, loot dropping, maybe you just have extra crest laying around either way. I don't know. This is very complicated. I wanted to cover every little angle for you guys. After taking 3 more hours looking at Sims from the last section of this video, I'm re-recording this at 5 a.m. I'm slurring my words. I'm tired. It might be Ulatek, but I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Obviously, a week till we get, you know, 5 days till the raid opens up, 13 till we get our first coin, and then roughly we'll figure it out from there. Thanks for watching. I'm going to bed. GN.